Come on, Kibs. Come on, Kibbies. Come on, Kibbies. Come on, Kibbies. Come on, Kibbies. Well, it's getting to be that time of year where the calves just start wandering around. Sometimes I swear it doesn't matter how good your fences are, they just crawl right through them and start exploring. Especially right now, you know, we're starting to get some of this green grass starting to pop up, and I think they're wandering around trying to get some more of that. Should probably go through and tighten up some fences a little bit more today, see where they're getting out at. So we're finally able to start farming. We're able to put it in a few days before the rain started coming, and we've had a pretty good rainstorm last night, and so we probably won't be doing much farming today. But I was able to drag this pasture piece here, then this pasture piece where my cows are, then I drug that pasture piece down there on the Salt River where I kept my cows the last couple winters. Then my dad was able to drag a couple of our hayfield pieces here by these pivots, so we were able to put a pretty good dent in it before these rains came. So hopefully it'll dry up today and maybe we can get going on it again tomorrow. Real quick, I figured I'd come down here and show you guys what we're going over our hay grounds with. So we got this 16 bar Harrow. I can't remember exactly how wide it is. I think it's either 32 feet or 36 feet wide, but it seems to do a really good job. I mean, we've been happy with it. The only problem that we have with it so far is on some of our rockier ground, it kind of digs up them rocks, and we got to come behind it with a roller and push them rocks back down. But on these grass pieces that we put up into horse hay, it does a great job. And this piece over here, you got a little bit more alfalfa in it. You can kind of see how it does. And sometimes also, if we got a bunch of gopher mounds in a field, you know, this does a pretty good job of scratching them and spreading them out, but then we'll come behind it with those 20-foot levelers that I built last spring. Just level everything out really nice and make it nice and smooth. Here in the next couple days, once we get going again, I'll try to get some footage of it going. So for example, these two pieces here are the pieces that have the most alfalfa ratio to grass on our place. As you can see here, this is a pretty gravelly section of this field. So then we'll just come back with that roller and push all this stuff back down so we're not sucking into the swath or the balers when we start haying. I also wanted to come out here to where our hay shed's at and show you what this subwater is doing around here. So we've pretty much got a little island there where the rest of our hay's stored. We don't have too many more bales left in there, maybe 15 or 20. But if you look around, all this water is all from subwater. You know, water coming up from underneath. So it's looped around that side of the hay shed. It's all the way around front. And looking this way, we got a pretty good sized pond right there. So I'm glad we don't have too much hay left in that hay shed, because we might have to move this eventually if it gets any higher. So today, I'm working on getting these levelers hooked up. When we sort them for the winter, we just had them stacked on top of each other because we'd packed them over here from over on the Idaho side. So I'm just down stacking them and getting the chains hooked back up. And I'm hoping that it's dried up enough that I can go down in a couple of these fields here and start doing a little bit of leveling behind what my dad's already done with that Harrow. So these are 20-foot levels that I built last year. And if anybody's interested in watching the video on how I built these, I'll put a link for that video at the end of this one. So we're gonna hook it up to the green Deutz today and see what we can get done. I'm sure you noticed what looks to be almost like rocks that leveler is picking up. So they're not actually rocks, but they're these gopher mounds. They've gotten so hard that when my dad broke them up with the Harrow, they almost became little rocks. So our ground doesn't usually work up like this. I think what's happened is we're about 3 weeks late getting into the field. And when these fields finally bared off and the snow was gone, I think the sun was more powerful and hot than what we're used to seeing, and so it just baked those gopher mounds and it made them almost into like bricks, little clay bricks. And that's why we're getting all these clods out here, is just because the sun was so much more powerful than what it normally is. That's what we're dealing with now. But this leveler seems to be smoothing it out pretty good. And looking here, you can kind of see it's smoothed out a fair amount. So this ground down here at Randall's has actually gotten so hard that we had to unhook off them Harrows, excuse me, and hook onto that groundhog, because it just digs it up a bit more and has that weight behind it to break up them gopher mounds. Because that Harrow was just scratching them gopher mounds and it wasn't breaking them up at all. And so we had to switch over to that. I just finished up with that green Deutz tractor and the levelers. All I need to do now is run down to that little Allis-Chalmers tractor with the roller on it. Just roll a couple little fields and we'll be done. At least here on the Wyoming side. Something else we're dealing with this spring is some of our swales have got all this groundwater in them. See it over here by that pivot tower, comes all the way through here, where East is at, over here. And I'll run over here and there's another swale on the other side of that hill. So this swale's got some water in it. It's pretty swampy right into there. We've got one more swale on the north side here that has a bit of water also. So here's that other swale that's got a bunch of water in it. It kind of loops around up through here and horseshoes back in our neighbor's field here. You can see he's got a little bit of water standing in his field also. So we've got a decent amount of groundwater on this grassy swales. They should produce quite a bit of hay, we hope. So these two fields over in this corner, they have quite a few little gravel bars that run through them. And you're looking across here, you can see these big rocks that stick up. So I've just got this little Allis-Chalmers hooked up to the roller. So let's go along and use that roller and hopefully push some of them rocks down, so we're not sucking them up in the swather or the balers once we start haying this. Hopefully I can get this done before the rain hits. We're supposed to get some rain this afternoon. And the skies are starting to look pretty dark there to the west. So let's see what we can get done. Well, that about does it for the farming this spring. We'll still have a little bit more to go over here on the Idaho side once the cows go up on the range. Might try to plant that into a 4-way and see how that goes for us, but that'll still be a couple weeks from now. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. Have a good day.